Welcome to the March 22 Eclipse OpenJ9 community call. As always, please add your name and affiliation to the list of attendees, just so we have some idea of who's regularly joining. All right, we've got our agenda in front of us, but if there's something you want to add in, feel free to jump in now with that, or to tag it in at the end any other business section, or to jump in at any point throughout the discussions here. So I'll pause if there's something we need to tackle right off the top. Then we're going to have a discussion around the OSX native stacks. Babneet, Eric, is that, you guys ready to lead that?
Yeah, so the blog is posted. Should I post a link?
Yeah, that would be good.
So yeah, the blog is separated into 3 sections. So the first is, it describes the process of the OMR thread, OMR introspect thread start to on OSX. Then the next section describes the process of obtaining the backtrace using libunwind, and why libunwind was chosen over the BSD backtrace. And finally, the last section gives some examples of the native stacks produced by OMR introspect and libunwind, and how this information can be used for diagnostics. Yeah. So that's basically what the blog is about.
So can you give us a little bit of background on what the core problem that led us to this? Like, why does this solution have to be different on OSX than what we've been using on other platforms?
So are you asking about the libunwind, or?
I'm asking about the underlying issue that led us to libunwind for this solution. What were we trying to do, and why was what we were using on other platforms not working originally?
So originally, these libraries weren't implemented, or at least weren't implemented fully. And there was a lot of issues that, because it was incomplete, and so the entire logic had to be redone. So it's not that the work on the other platforms wasn't working, it was just that it was quite different.
Having now used libunwind on OSX, is this a solution that makes sense to adapt to other platforms, or does it make sense to continue to leave them on so they're currently used?
I think it's probably best that we use this only for OSX because it's built in. There's not really anything you have to do to include it. But on other platforms, I'm pretty sure it's not built into the yeah.
I can give more information. I think libunwind is thread safe and signal safe, which makes it better than backtrace. That was one of the motivations to use it. Plus, the BSD backtrace didn't give all the information, or it cut off some of the frames, so which we were able to acquire through libunwind. So overall, libunwind was better than the operating system called backtrace. That's why libunwind was adopted. I think libunwind is also available on Linux and few other platforms. Due to these benefits, in my opinion, I think it will be it may yield better, same results, but it will, due to the thread safety and signal safety aspects, lib and wind may be better than the system calls on other operating systems. Back to you, Dan.
That makes sense to me. I know we use libunwind with Cubic for doing all our stack walking, so I'm not at all surprised that it's available elsewhere. Because more than not surprised, I know that it's available elsewhere because we use it elsewhere. Was there anything else that you guys wanted to call out about the blog?
Nothing from me.
Nothing from me as well, Dan.
Anyone have any questions for Eric or Babneet? Then thanks, guys, for walking us through this and the work that went into solving this problem.
I don't think it's actually merged in yet. Is it still to be merged?
Correct, Peter. I think it's still being reviewed by Keith.
Coming soon, hopefully.
Coming soon, yep.
All right. Jump down and take a look at the new user-raised issues. And it looks like one of these came in since the last one of the calls, and there's been a comment at least in there. So we're asking for diagnostic files. Okay.
Yeah, there was no core file provided, so I don't think we could do much without a core. I also gave them the most recent build so they could try that just in case it's already fixed.
Is there anything else in this list that we need to discuss? Back to the agenda. That brings us to the 031 release for Java 18. I guess I'll pull up the milestone plan. Pete, do you want to walk us through the status on these?
I might defer to Toby for the two of them anyways. Toby's on.
See Toby, but he's muted.
There we go. Sorry about that. Yeah. So for 14, so the first one, the internal regression. So there is a fix that has been tested that passes the internal test. So it's just a matter of making a PR, getting that reviewed. For test JLM remote.
Sorry, just on the internal regression, it's marked as a blocker, but there's no details on that. Is that is the fix for this risky?
I don't believe so.
But this is a regression, right?
Yeah.
We put in a fix for the hidden stack frame, removing hidden stack frames, method handle frames, and that's caused this regression. So
this needs to be fixed before we ship.
I think so. In fact, I think we should probably consider everything in this list as something that needs to be fixed before we ship, or we need to decide to remove it from the list.
I don't think the AR64 one needs to be fixed. It's a early access release only, and it's a very intermittent from
Linux.
Sorry, I don't understand.
It's the failures happening on AR64 Linux, not AR64 Mac.
Oh yes, sorry, yes. Yes, never mind. Yes, I get it.
I ran a bunch of grinders, and it does seem to be specific to AR64. I could only repeat it on that platform and only on JDK 18. It didn't seem to happen on 17. So we seem to have narrowed it down to a particular method. Hopefully we can make some progress on it. But yeah, I think that it's if it came down to this one, I don't know if we'd want it to hold up the release, but I think we've got other problems to resolve, so we might as well keep looking.
Okay, so this one, the internal regression, if I understood Toby correctly, we have a patch for that, and that'll be ready to go. Correct?
Yeah.
And then you were going to talk to the JLM issue.
Yeah, so this one, the problem is understood. The fix is a little more complicated. So in terms of risk, that one is definitely higher risk. We don't have a patch for it. It's in progress. It might take longer. It definitely will take longer to get that ready relative to the internal regression. They're both related to the changes that we made for JEP 416, but they are two separate problems.
Oh, so this is also related to the Stackwalker change.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're both regressions, both caused by the same earlier change, both meaning that our stack walking isn't correct yet.
Do we have a sense of how much time looking at for this?
So I think maybe next week we can get that fixed. I would like this one, the fix for this one, to sit a bit longer just because of the parts of the code that are being modified. It is definitely something that is a riskier change.
I think that puts us in risk of not making our 2-week deadline for getting the GA of Java 18 out the door. So we should probably make an announcement, and I don't know if we should make the decision today, but if we're not going to ship the Java 18 GA within 2 weeks of today, we might consider not shipping it at all and just shipping 1801 in April.
Toby, when you say you want this to sit and you need a week for this, are you talking having the patch ready to go by the next one of these meetings, so by the Tuesday? Or I'm just trying to get a handle on how fuzzy that week deadline is.
So I think we can get a fix in by next week. So around this time next week, I think we should be able to get a fix in. But I think we would want to get that a lot of testing.
Is the area, I don't know if there's more context in here. Let me open it up for a minute.
Yeah, so we have to change some of the stack walk code for this one. The last two functions in GAC's message get owned object monitors and block frame monitor answer records. In the past, we've seen that to be a cause of more user issues. So I'd like to be careful when we modify that code.
Okay.
Dan and Toby, I just want to jump in. So the two APIs that GAC have mentioned that we should be looking at changing, it is one of the issues with it is that it is still using the Stackwalker API in SWalk, which is what we've been reframing from using in the beginning, which generated this PR at the very beginning, due to the fact that JIT inline frames will not be handled in there. So if we have hidden frames that are JIT inline, like, it might cause more problems down the stream.
Sorry, I'm just trying to think through the implications of that. I think we will definitely have hidden frames that get inlined.
So the issue we've originally seen, which triggered the original PRs that have been causing these issues, is that in the case when JIT inlines hidden frames with other frames together, one of the possible issues is that if we filter out the hidden frames inside the SWalk APIs, we will also lose the frames which are inline into the hidden frames during the stack walk. So we move the filtering of hidden frames out of SWalk into the iterate stack trace logic. The problem with that is now that we've had the filtering done after we've already generated the walkback object for Sorobal. So any APIs that would be calculating the stack size depending on the walkback variable will no longer function correctly if there is any hidden frames inside the stack trace. Both the JIT get on the object monitors and walk frame monitor enter record. So when they're calculating the depths of each monitor in the stack trace array, they assume that the hidden frame should be there, which it might not be depending on the user flag.
Okay.
You still there, Dan?
Yeah, sorry. I'm trying to think through. The explanation from Jack makes sense for why this would be problematic. See that. Wondering, I can see why we got this wrong. Completely reasonable to miss that. The fix doesn't sound that risky to me, though. Am I missing some other implication of this?
I guess the logic is that right now we are using two different APIs to do the logic. For monitors and stuff, we're doing it using purely the StackWalk API. And for the actual stack trace array itself, we're using the get stack trace call, which is returning Java level objects, and those ones are done through the iterate stack trace. And if we were to filter it in the walk frame API, we can. The existing mechanism cannot handle inline frames because either a inline frame is detected as hidden or non-hidden, and whatever inside it that have been inlined will not be considered. In the iterate stack trace case, everything is unfolded, and each frame gets evaluated separately.
Okay.
So depending on how the inlining works, we might have either hidden frames that are not hidden in the walkback, or we might have non-hidden frames that are inline into hidden frames, which get ignored in the SWalk if we're doing it there. But it won't get ignored in the iterate stack trace. So there's still going to be that possible mismatch.
Okay. I think we should probably continue this offline if we want to get deeper into it, rather than trying to get too deep now. Sorry, it was me starting to dig in too far. All right, so jumping back up a level, we've got this one. We're looking at a week at least to get it resolved. What about the remaining two?
Toby, can you talk about the second last one?
Yeah, so that one is close. I just had a minor comment on the solution proposed, but I think we can get this in the next day or two.
And then the last one is a fix that was one of our issues that we had in the milestone plan. The fix has been merged to the headstream, and we need to triage the builds last night to make sure that nothing fell over, and then we could put the fixes into the release streams.
Okay, so it sounds like we're still a ways away from completing this release. Do we want to make a call today on whether we're likely to be missing our 2-week window, or do we want to delay that until the next call?
My feeling is we could pretty safely say we're going to miss our 2-week window.
Do we have a sense of by how much we're going to miss that window? I believe our process says we should be giving an accurate guideline on when we would actually do the release then.
Well, I'm thinking if we're going to miss the window, we shouldn't ship it at all, and we should just ship 1801.
Okay, let's park that then for a minute and go take a look at the 1801 release schedule. We've got 6 items in here. How close do we think we're going to be on being able to ship this on time?
So we do have, 4 issues that are with the JIT? We could talk through whether we think they need to block the release or not. The top one has been deferred before. I'm sure we could defer it again. The bottom one looks like a regression from an earlier change, although we don't know for sure yet. But perhaps the fix is to back out that change. So that kind of leaves the 3 in the middle.
Daryl, do you know what the state of the 3 in the middle here?
The third one on the list we have a fix for. I think it's just waiting to be merged. The second one, we just got someone to look at that last night, so no updates on that one yet. And what is the third one? Is that the one with, sorry, I'm not quite familiar with that one. I have to look that one up.
So that one
Is that the one with...
came in from a user, and Kevin, I think, said he was going to take a look at it.
This is the one that I moved. That's not it. This is the other one.
Sorry, which?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one.
This one. Okay.
So it's a user-raised problem, and now a second user has complained about it, and Kevin said he was going to take a look, but then there was no further updates. So I think we need to take a look and figure out if it's something we need to get resolved for this release or not, if multiple users are hitting this problem.
Okay, well, I have to get some input from Kevin on this one then. I think the original problem, if it is a regression from the original problem was to fix some other user-raised issue, so there could be a bit of a cascade effect.
I look at our release deadlines. We're looking to GA April 21st. So we've got 6 issues there. Do we believe that we would be ready to go for April 1st with the set of issues that we have?
Hard to say. Some of these problems could take, um, like, for example, the first one there, I mean, I've been looking at it for the last day and a half now. It's just taking a while to get to the root of the problem. So if the others are like that, then it would seem that the 21st might be in jeopardy.
Concerns me a little bit for skipping the 18 release then, and that our 18 will be released, not just the 2 weeks delayed, but a full month plus however long this release is delayed.
Yeah, I agree with that concern.
So I think let's make the decision on delaying the 031 release during next week's call. I think we should be trying to pull out all the stops to get that release out the door within our 2-week window. And if we can't make that, or if we believe by next week's call that we cannot get this release out within that 2 weeks window, then we need to make a decision on whether to release 18 separately from the quarterly update or not. Does that sound like a reasonable path forward?
Should we go ahead and announce that we think we're going to be late with the Java 18 GA at this time, or wait till next Tuesday?
OpenJDK is released theirs today, correct?
Yeah, I didn't check if anything is out yet, but it's supposed to be released today.
Yeah, so I think we should probably announce that I'm hesitant to make an announcement because I'm not sure. My hesitation is the cascading delay announcement. We expect to be delayed. We do not know how long. It's not a great announcement.
No, it's not.
And because
Go ahead.
And I was going to say because we don't have a sense of the time frame on it. If we could make an announcement and say we believe we will ship within 2 weeks or within 3 weeks or whatever our time frame is, that would be one thing. But to make an announcement of we're delayed feels like we're falling back into the concern of day-by-day slips. So I think my preference is to wait till next week and make a clear announcement at that point on what our status is.
Sounds fine.
Take a note on that for a second.
I see Oracle has Java 18 up available for download.
Okay. All right, then I guess the state that we're in, we're continue to ask everybody to focus on burning down these issues and making sure that we get these completed and resolved so we can ship on time. I realize we're over time now, so is there anything else that we need to discuss around the release cadence or release schedule?
I can say I don't have anything else at this time, so if we wanted to continue, that would be fine with me.
I'm happy to continue as well. So why don't we do that? And those who are able can stay. If you have to drop, feel free to drop, and we'll catch up on anything else, either via Slack or other channels. So just looking at who we have on the call. Do we have somebody from the Adopt team who can give us an update there? Doesn't sound like it, so we'll skip over that. Adam, is there an update on the infrastructure? And actually, Adam's not on the call either.
Yeah, we don't have Adam. We still have issues with Windows machines, but other than that, I think everything's okay.
Devin, anything to call out around CMake?
No, nothing real new of note there.
Checking, do we have Marius? Yes, so we'll skip the JIT server. Next MicroJIT meeting is coming up in a couple of days. I've also seen that they're getting ready to get the initial PR with these changes merged in, so that's some great progress coming out there. Toby, anything you want to call out around Snapshot Restore?
Yeah, so recently we enabled building, so just compile tests and PR build, so you can run that command and run the compile job. We're working on getting basic testing so we can actually do a build and verify that it works. Right now, the main issue is that we just don't have it installed on enough external machines. I think it's only on one external machine, so we're working with Violetta and Adam to roll that out more broadly.
Jack, is there an update on Loom?
There's not much to update. We're revising the patches to OpenJDK thread to make it work better with the Loom thread support.
Thanks, Jack. Cheng, is there an update on Panama?
Not much. Still working on the non-flow structures in terms of function issues out there.
Thanks, Cheng. We lost Daryl. Skip over the M1 piece. Keith, was there anything?
As far as I know, the M1 early access is ready to go. The builds are running clean, although a number of things are excluded to be worked on for later releases.
Oh, that's great news. Do you know if the compressed refs port has, or discussions have started up again?
I don't believe so.
Keith, was there further things that we needed to cover for the shared library rename?
No, I haven't worked on that in the last week, so nothing new to report there.
All right. Then is there anything else we need to add to the agenda? Any last minute topics that need to be covered? All right, on that basis, thank you everybody, and sorry we ran a little bit over, but it was a good discussion. So, all right, then I guess we'll meet again next week. Thanks everyone.
Thank you.